There are team goals for this project. What do we want to accomplish? What skills do we want to develop or refine?
Okay.
I swear on the Bible of BASC that I'm gonna
fulfill the duties.
Exactly, I'm gonna respect this.
Oh my god, someone has got the Twitter handle at Intditj.
Okay, replied already.
What have you put as like a closing sentence to your email?
Closing sentence of my email.
Yeah.
I was thinking something just pretty...
The moment of truth. The en voyage of the next step. God bless.
So today we've sent all our emails to our prospective interviewees. Very excited. They're very tailored. So
So we came up with most of our questions today, divided up into introductory, methods, restrictions, and kind of conclusion. And now we have to sort of make more individual ones.
Well, we're worried about how specific we had to, how far we had to go into chemistry, because we won't be able to understand specifically what their research is about. So we're worried about.
Yeah, so you kind of have to ask
we'll get
broader questions.
We'll get
Exactly.
So we didn't get our first choice interviewee, but we've sent out more emails to our second choice and hopefully still going to get some good responses.
Take 3 on the finding a geography student. 5 emails. No positive replies. Feeling good. Feeling good.
Also, you keep it? Everyone said just like put it on at the end.
Another question. Did you carry out research individually or in a group? And do you ever work with other departments?
So we did ours in a group. I guess we were just solely in the Department of Geography, so for this project we did.
So this meeting we grappled with semi-structured interviews, figured out how to actually structure it, and we ate donuts.
meeting. Within this one we did a practice interview. I was the interviewee, and we noticed we had a couple of issues we might need to iron out before the interview.
Okay, so we went through a practice interview and we realised that if they don't answer the questions with like quite a descriptive response, then we might run out of questions. So we're thinking about like ways to develop on that by asking them follow-ups, or kind of if it went the other way and we asked them too many questions and ran out of time, like we were trying to prioritise which questions we wanted to ask first.
So we've already scheduled 2 interviews and they're both next week. For our third one, we've contacted 3 different PhD students and either have gotten like negative replies or haven't got a reply yet. So we're still waiting to schedule that one.
Okay, hi. With Thomas, we're gonna do a first interview. So we are a bit anxious because we don't really know what to expect, and we don't know if our questions are going to be good, because you know sometimes it feels natural when we practice together, but once you're like with the person, it is not as good. So we hope we're going to be up to the task, and that Dr. if it's how we're going to call her, will be enthusiastic to take part in the research and will provide us with all the answers we need.
So it's our first, interview we've ever done, so we're going to this a little bit apprehensive. We're kind of unsure about what to expect, especially because we've never met Dr. before, so kind of worried about that. And also, it's the first time we've even done like a semi-structured interview, so we're still not entirely sure of the degree to which we have to be asking follow-up kind of on-the-fly questions and like the structured questions we came up with before. So we're just going to go into this with kind of an open mind and hope it goes well.
So,
Hi.
So
we did it!
We did our first interview with Dr. Politics, and it was kind of nerve-wracking at first. We went in, didn't know what to expect, but we came up with some really good information. It was really fluent, and Dr. Politics, it was a good environment.
She was really nice, and she helped to shape the environment. She to make the talk very, not very, but informal, so
Yeah.
everyone was really comfortable.
Yeah.
And she
was very detailed as well, like
Yeah.
very in-depth questions and very in-depth answers, I should say.
And which was interesting is that she helped us to talk about things we hadn't thought about.
Like-
so, for example, teamwork was really important, like
well
the
as-
challenges and the advantages.
Exactly. And also like publications, the research excellence framework were things we didn't consider when planning our interview. So
And she was patient. She
Yeah.
really wanted us to understand everything properly.
Exactly.
So it was really nice for us to have all this information.
okay,
So yes,
yeah.
now we have a lot of
We're
work
done.
to do.
Now
but-
to transcribe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
See you.
See you.
So we're on our way to interviewing our chemistry professor.
We've got our questions here ready.
Yeah.
Highlighted. So like, so I feel good. I'm a bit nervous about like whether we're gonna like follow the questions in order, like structured or semi-structured interview, because we obviously haven't done one yet. So I don't really know. How do you feel?
I mostly feel concerned about how technical it can be. Like, I'm afraid we can't understand her research if she explains us to highly scientific details. But otherwise, it's gonna be alright.
And also actually maybe the timing, because we don't know whether we have too many questions or not enough. So like she might really chatty or she might not be.
Alright. Yeah, we'll see you there.
So we've just finished our interview, just came back.
We made it.
And she talked a lot about sort of her research in detail, like chemistry and stuff, which we didn't really understand. But the rest of it was good.
Yeah, she talked a lot at the beginning about her research, like in specific terms. What else? She didn't actually know what we meant by methods. She couldn't really explain what her methods were, and we tried to ask her at some point.
And she just sort of went back to her specific research and. So we know a lot about chemistry now, but...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we just tried to ask her at some point what, like, if she had qualitative methods, just to make her do a distinction between
she didn't even know what that was.
Qualitative and quantitative. Yeah, she didn't know what that was.
But apart from that, I think it was good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she was...
It went over time a bit, so it was 35 minutes, but
exactly,
the beginning doesn't really count, so...
Yeah, actually, one of my main concerns before, I forgot to talk about it, was to understand her, because I can have trouble understanding people, and she was speaking very clearly, slowly.
And then neither of us do chemistry either, so we were a bit lost in that, but...
Yeah, exactly. Quite lost in chemistry, yeah.
So yeah.
I think that's it.
Good. So after many trials and tribulations and 9 emails, we've secured a client in the geography department, and we're meeting him on Monday before 12. He's super excited. I'm super excited. Yeah. Thank you everybody who's a part of this. Okay, it is 10:52, and we are 8 minutes away from our third interview with our
Anonymous interviewee.
Yes.
So we've just been thinking about what kind of questions we're going to ask, and we were talking about whether we needed specific questions or not, weren't we? Or...
Yeah, and we're planning how structured we want our interview to be, because we're going for that semi-structured. So we have our list of questions, we have a few follow-ups, and we're just going to...
We decided not to go too structured because we're hoping that the things he say will lead us to more questions.
Yeah. So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So we had our interview earlier with our third interviewee, and we're about halfway through transcribing it now. It went really well. They led most of the interview themselves. They were quite elaborative in their answers, so we didn't really have to prompt them with much, did we?
Yeah, I'd definitely say it was we really nailed semi-structured, because the interviewee really opened up a lot of topics that we were planning on asking them anyway. So it was really effective using the semi-structured model. They gave us a lot of useful information that we think will really contrast with some of the other interviews that our team conducted.
And the timing-wise, it kind of all went to plan, didn't it?
Yeah, it's
They
almost
didn't
exactly.
really go off topic or like seem to come to kind of a natural conclusion.
Yeah, definitely. So we managed to ask them all the questions we wanted, and we think we've got some pretty useful data. So,
Yeah.
good sign. Good signs. Catch you later.
Hi everyone! Okay, so now that we have the interviews, we need to transcribe them. So we're using the application Trint, which is very useful. So basically you just upload your vocal memo and then in a few minutes the transcription is ready. So it's quite magical, but then it doesn't mean that you don't have to work on it. So for example, I know it depends very much on the interviews. It can be easier when the speaker speaks loud and distinctly, but for example, for ours, it was, well, there were some bits that were quite hard to understand, so you just have to play and play and play it again until you have the sentence right. But yeah, everything is made to make it easy, to make it accessible for some people like us who are not used to using this kind of application, so it was really useful. So yeah, I would say that it takes a lot of time even if you have the application, so I only had to transcribe the second half of the interview of Dr. Politics with Thomas, and it's still quite long when you sit here, so you have to have the time and to be patient. So I think it was really interesting for us to have an insight and to know. Okay, so this is one of the final stage of our project. We have interviewed everyone and we have transcribed everything. So Thomas, Jasmine and Olivia are currently reading the 3 interviews. Guys, how are you feeling? What do you... Are you happy?
Yeah, no, it's
You
pretty...
work? Because that's the first time that you have a chance of seeing the other interviews.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting reading. They're talking about things that we didn't really consider in our interview, or it's just kind of avenues that I haven't looked at myself, so it's a pretty interesting read.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how different interviewees kind of respond to similar questions as well. They can go off in completely different directions, so it's all down to interpretation.
So yeah, I think we're going to have a lot to talk about in our reports, a lot of comparing and contrasting the different interviews. And now we're just like looking at the different themes in the interviews and yeah.
Hello, we're the first ones who have read the 3 interviews, so we're gonna give you the first feedbacks. So Virgil, do you want to start? What did you first think about it? What were your first reactions?
What we found interesting was the fact that we managed to find, well, actually, I managed to find common themes among the 3 interviews, but I didn't find any theme that was common to the 3 interviews. Like, for example, we had teamwork that was approached in 2 interviews, but only 2.
It's gonna be maybe difficult to make nice bridges between the 3 interviews because well, of course they don't have the same views, but sometimes they don't even talk about it because we were not able to, I don't know, to talk about it. But what is interesting is that in each of them there's new information that we haven't thought about. There's a lot about publication, competition in politics. There's the whole connection between chemistry and the industry world, which is also interesting, and how this is connected, how they can be constrained to make the publications or to make the project quite strict. They can't really change everything because they're quite committed at the beginning when they're working with some companies.
There are restrictions in the geography.
Yeah, in the geography one, there were much more like restrictions about the bureaucracy and the fact that it was very difficult to access information if you didn't really know at first what you wanted to see. But I think we have a nice panel of what research is, and we have much more information than before, so this is good.
Yeah, maybe a bit too broad.
Maybe a bit too broad, but these are the first feedbacks. We just read them like for the first time, so we're gonna find out some common themes, right?
Yeah, we are.